if they ask me that, okay, did Mary pay you? Yes, she paid you. Did Mary pay you every time? No, she didn't pay me every time. Last month she didn't pay me.
No, but you wouldn't pay deposits, so you are the one who volunteered to thieve first. You said you would steal my deposit unless I took you to court. Do you know how expensive it is to make a lawsuit? Do you think I like doing this? This is not fun, dealing with someone who treats me this way. If you try to do an illegal, retaliatory 10-day eviction and leave me with no money and steal my deposit, you are putting me in a very bad situation.
I don't understand. You caused me so much loss.
How much? How much?
Okay, I paid. Okay, let me tell you. I paid 2 times for food fighting, $135 2 times, and I paid for annually $750. And then I'm losing the month of June then. So 850 for the month of June, and then 750 for annual, right? It's like $600. Plus 2 times I had to fight for petition of one of them was for Adobe and one of them for Sean, right? So that is.
How much do you pay Sean? Because you pay the male manager, but you don't pay the female manager. Are you sexist? Because I am a female, you do not pay me money? Do you know I have to eat food? When I work very hard for you, I expect to be paid.
You are not my manager.
I worked for you.
You are not my manager.
I worked for you, sir, and you did not pay. That is a labor law violation.
There was no.
It indicated to me that you were dishonest to me.
Mary, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Please, I want you to tell me.
Was it worth it? You could have just written a check. It would have been really simple. You could have written half of $360, which is like $200, maybe $35 for cleaning, and given me my deposit for say $1,300 or $1,100, $1,200, and we might have walked away happy, thinking, "Gosh, he's at least being honest with his retaliatory emergency eviction, fake eviction to punish me for caring about fire safety." I did not enjoy the month of April. I paid full rent, and all I did was deal with the problems at your property.
You are according to my academic advice. However,
You can always get a second opinion if your attorney is an idiot, okay?
He's an idiot, that's right. Even my academic advice, I did not follow. His advice to visit you based on the booking. Okay? I could have done that, but I did not follow that. I thought that, okay, if I do this, that's a good future. That's what I'm doing. If she pays me rent, I'm fine. But you decided not to pay rent.
No, you decided not to give deposit back, so we were stranded at your property with no money. We were stranded at your property, and I communicated with your manager from May 6th via email about how do I get paid for temporary manager, how do we subtract that from May rent, what do I owe? And your new manager told me you do not have to pay rent if there are severe code violations. And then you pressured your new manager to file an eviction.
Sean actually did. Sean violated my contract with you. So I would have to.
Well, you need to have a manager who thinks like you, because if you have one manager saying don't pay rent, and you actually want someone to pay rent, you cannot tell someone they're kicked out and they don't live there, and then also say, well, pay rent. When you faked your 72-hour notices, that it was at least a good sign that, okay, you want some money. That's easy.
Because you just keep talking.
Well, it is going somewhere because we're talking about some really unusual behavior. In a 4-month lease, in 4 months and 10 days, I have had nothing but nightmares and headaches from your property.
I have my family. Hey, Mary.
Yeah, they're beautiful
I have
family.
My family. Yeah. Back to my family, and then I need to end the discussion. So if you feel that okay, you want to give me the feedback tomorrow.
Are you going to be in town tomorrow, or are you going to be back in Hillsborough?
Huh?
Are you back in town tomorrow, or are you back in Hillsborough?
I'm not going to be here, but you can mail me the key.
Well, I would prefer to be able to remove the bicycle.
That should be fine.
I would prefer to be able to remove the bicycle from the porch and make things a little more proper. If
This is your property. You can come today and you can come tomorrow to take your bicycle out of the property. Of course, it is still your property legally. So there is no way that I can do anything. So today and tomorrow you can take your bicycle out, you can take your couch out, okay, and then be done with it.
I will try to persuade George. George prefers that you just evict us one more time, okay? So, I wouldn't do what George says just because George wants it that way, okay? Because I think that it's a crazy situation as it stands. I don't think an eviction is going to be fun for you. For me, I really don't want George to press the issue.
Well, if you're out already, what's the point of going to school now?
Because he feels like you have denied him, you have punished him because you do not like what I did. He was a good rent-paying citizen. He did nothing, he bothers nobody.
There is no punishment.
And you are punishing me for contacting the fire marshal in the second month of my tenancy.
That's it. As simple as this.
Once I contacted the fire marshal, it was out of my hands. I just got the inspectors to come in because they were already going to investigate. Because they already knew before you bought it. It's not your fault, Mr. Akbar. It's not your fault.
That's fine. But the question is that I did not evict you because you have asked fire marshal or whatever. That was not the case at all. I have tried for eviction. You understand? Yes, I gave a notice. My attorney suggested me to give a notice.
And what about the leaking shower? How should I pay full rent for April and May when I know my shower is leaking down on the Latino family below? Just because they are Latino does not believe they need substandard property.
It's not your problem.
Oh, it is too. It is too. We are human beings. We are human beings. We are all connected. If you are suffering, I am suffering. If they are suffering, I am suffering.
I'm hanging up, okay? I'm hanging up. I don't want to disrespect you by hanging up.
Mr. Akbar, do you promise me you will drive safe?
End my discussion, okay?
Drive safe, and I wish you happiness. I wish you happiness and peace with your family. I hope all of this can come into a peaceful resolution. I'm very sorry you have these problems.
I want to know last time. Are you going to give me the keys or not?
I was preferring to walk away. And I was preferring to do so when I get a receipt. Do you still have my post office box? If you mail me a receipt for my payments and mail me a waiver of the, like a credit, if you call it charity, whatever, for my wages for through June 10.
Are you asking right now?
Yes, but Mohammed, I have a very severe medical condition that all of this has been very difficult for me.
Do you want to meet right now? Do you want to meet right now and give me the keys right now? I'm still in the property. Do you want to do that?
Can you write something down on paper that says I paid rent in February?
You can put this thing right now, okay?
You've got a pen?
Tell me.
If you put on a piece of paper, Mary Eng paid rent, or Mary Eng and George Karj paid rent for February. Mary Eng and George Karj paid rent for March. Mary Eng and George Karj paid rent for April. And then Mary Eng paid deposit of $900 starting January, February. And then Mary Eng worked part of April as temporary manager, which is
No, that's what I cannot write.
received as rent credit for June.
Do not ask me to lie. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. If you tell me that okay, the security deposit is going to be redeemed for the month of May, I can do that.
Okay.
That is true.
Okay.
I can do that. But management thing is completely would be a lie. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Because that's not.
So when I gave a key to your new tenants, unlocked properties, dealt with locked laundry room, helped assist tenants doing things like notified them, answered their texts, answered their questions, answered their phone calls, all of that was not work. And why is that? Because I am female?
And you did this favor to me, I can write down that too. That you did a favor to me. That's fine.
You have the Google Drive access, correct? You have evidence of how many text messages I gave in response to your tenants. How much do you pay per text message?
Mary, as I said to you that I'm not going do and it is illegal.
But you know, would it make your mind or your heart feel better to realize that my wasted time was valuable to me and it was worth recompense? Would that make you feel better?
If you if you think that your action made me a lot of money loss, you maybe feel good that okay,
No, 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 no. It's hazards of doing business are not my problem. I studied real estate and property law too, and I am not a property owner because of these problems. It's a legal liability and risk. Your risk assessment has nothing to do with me.
Are you going to meet me now to close this thing and hand over the key? It is your opportunity to do it now.
I would prefer to, well, I would love to hang out with you and have a coffee and talk about the real world, because this is not the real world. This is just a very small minor transaction. I would like something in writing when I receive the keys.
I'm telling you that I am willing to close this thing with you without telling anything lies. Okay, I cannot lie about the thing.
You could say that Mary Ang downloaded.
I'm not going to do that.
You could say Mary Ang downloaded Google Drive app. Mary Ang responded to inquiries. Mary Ang responded to tenant needs for keys. Mary Ang returned keys. Mary Ang held on to lease agreements. Mary Ang researched problems with the building history in the Google Drive. And for that position, which was temporary,
Mary,
offered as $360 per month.
I'm not going to write down anything like that because that's not what I offer you. If you do it by your own way, do research, do the scan, do this up.
Oh, so you were my it was my charity to you that I was offering you full month rent and full energy for your building?
Well, if you do your energy, whatever you're claiming, it's up to you. Okay? I did not ask you or offer you or beg you for this kind of thing. All I said that can you do a